Hello, all. Thank you for joining me today. It's Trelise Witherspoon, licensed mortgage loan officer with Barrett Financial. I've been in the financial industry for over 30 years now. And today I will be doing an interview with my daughter, my one and only, my mini-me, Lauren Witherspoon.
Hello.
Hi. So, we were able to help her purchase her first multifamily property, and it's been 1 year since that transaction happened. So she is here to share with all of you her testimonial, give you her personal experience on how she went through the process. So I set up some Q&As, and we're gonna dig into it. All right. So Lauren.
Hello,
Mother. Hi, you're so gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
By the way, she is an international runway model. Okay. Gotta check out her IG because she's doing the doggone thing. Okay. Hey, just have to put that in there. So anyway, I've got some questions here for Lauren today, and we're gonna go ahead and share her experience with all of you. My first question for you, daughter. Why don't you we're going to do a little introduction. Why don't you tell us about yourself, share a little bit about your background, and, what you're about.
I feel like I have a pretty extensive background because I model, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a coach and a mentor.
Wow.
So I do a lot, just like you. That's where I get it from. So, that's like a little bit about my background, and
All right. So then on that note, also share with us what made you decide to buy a property, and in particular, instead of a single family home, you bought a multifamily. So tell us a little bit about your decision on that.
I think that you definitely encouraged me to purchase a multifamily, just because, number one, it's an investment, and if I'm going to make an investment, I want to make sure I get the most out of my investment.
Mm-hmm.
So getting a bang for my buck by getting not only one unit but two,
mm-hmm.
I think that it's gonna definitely bring in a lot of income to my home once I make it an investment property.
Mm-hmm.
So just the longevity reason, and then also being encouraged by you, and then realizing that my investment's going to pay off just by having more with it. Definitely, right. It contributed to my decision.
Right. And that's the key piece on talking about building a legacy of wealth and prosperity, not just for you, but for generations to come. Because that property, whether she decides to continue to live in it on her own or eventually move out, buy something else, well, now that property is going to continue to cash flow for her over time. So that's the goal, ultimate goal. Especially, I recommend that for all first-time home buyers. Buying a single family, okay, wonderful. I understand. It's the American dream. But when you buy a property that can continuously cash flow for you, well, that's the ultimate dream right there. All right. So let's get into the next question. So how did you first hear about, well, actually, we're not going to ask that question because she heard about it through her mother. Okay. With me, all my kids, it's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Hey, this is what you got to do. They didn't have a choice. I didn't give them a choice. They didn't have a choice. I laid it out. Here's the plan. Here's how we're going to proceed with this. You buy this first. Once you acquire that investment property, then if after that point you decide you want to go buy you a single family home, great, go do that. But now you have this investment property and it's cash flowing for you. So that's the ultimate goal. Next question, let's get into it. So what are some of your biggest concerns, or what were your biggest challenges during the actual home buying process? Why don't you share that with us?
I think my main challenge that I had during the home buying process is making sure that everything worked out accordingly. I was in a very desperate time in my life where I just needed a place to live.
Mm-hmm.
And I really wanted to own, but I had to trust in God that I was gonna actually find what I wanted, and then actually everything goes smoothly as well.
Right.
So I think it was just like having trust in the process.
Right.
And
right.
then also like finding what I wanted, especially since finding family properties is pretty hard in
Right.
Arizona. And
Right.
like also like finding it in the right place and like all these things that I wanted. So
And I have to add, she worked with a realtor, but the realtor didn't find the property.
I did.
She found the property and took it to the realtor and said, hey, I need you to show me this property. So it was just, I mean, I was like, girl, we got to get you your license, okay? Because you got a gift. You know, she did her own homework. She didn't rely on nobody else. She was like, look, hey, what about this? What about this? I was like, oh my gosh, you're so good at this. So now we're working on getting her real estate license. So we going to be teaming up here soon. So I'm telling y'all better get ready because it's about to be boom, ta-da.
And one thing else that I want to add is that I had seen the property after we had looked at a house. And I was like, no, this is not it. And I had seen it, I think, on Redfin. And I was like, that color on the house looks ugly. I don't like it. No. And then, like, I had seen it again, like more than one time. And I was like, all right. Yeah, I was like, all right, let me show my mom this property and see what she thinks. And I was like, Mom, what about this one? She was like, oh, we should have seen this from the get-go. This is the first one we should have seen. And I was like, oh, okay. So, yeah, it's just funny how God works because, like, I had seen it and I was a bit hesitant on it because I was like, ooh, that color is not for me. But then, like, after seeing it more than one time, that just showed me, like, I needed to see it.
And that's so key because as soon as she showed me the property, I was like, yeah, that's it. We need to move on that. And as soon as she made the offer, the seller accepted on the first offer.
Get rid of it.
He was ready to move. So everything lined up. It was perfect. Everything just went ba 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 ba. Even to the closing, closed on time. Everything just was seamless. So that's how we know that God definitely had his hand in it too, because everything just worked out seamless for them. Next question. So how did my service as your mother and your loan officer help you in the process and make the process for you?
I think that, like, not only having you as my mother, but outside of it, having you as my loan officer, I feel like my mom, like, did the best to make sure I got the best deal. And, like, when it came to the fees, too, she was like, oh, no, we're going to work with this one. I know exactly who we need to work with. No, this isn't going to work. So she, like, made sure that, like, with our situation, especially since me and my brother are both first-time home buyers, that we got the best deal and we got everything for, like, as low as possible and more affordable for us.
And did you pay anything out of pocket at closing, or did you get a check back?
We got a check back.
Boom. That part. First-time home buyers got a check back at closing, y'all. Got the money back in their pocket.
Yeah, and then I think also helping with the down payment assistance process too.
Yeah.
Like, made a big difference with that. So, like, I was just grateful that we were able to, like, get through the process of that piece, because I was just like, it was kind of like stressing me out because I'm like, okay, like, what do I need to do? And she's like, don't worry about it. I'm gonna make sure you good. So I think that I was very grateful with going through that process with her and knowing that she would make sure she'd go above and beyond to ensure that we were taken care of.
Oh, I appreciate that. That just melts my heart completely. So, and what stood out specifically for you the most about working with me as your loan officer, not your mother, but as your loan officer?
What stood out to me is that you went above and beyond.
Okay.
We made sure that we worked with the best people that she knew she trusted. When it came to, like, each company that would manage us, like the what's it called?
The title company.
Also like escrow and all of that.
Yeah.
So, like, she just made sure that we weren't getting, like, gypped or, like, taken advantage of.
Yeah.
When it came to, like, those pieces that were required of like getting this thing closed out, even the appraisal as well.
Yeah.
So I think that's what was my favorite part, working with her as my loan officer.
Wonderful. I love the feedback. So how confident did you feel about your purchase by the time the process was completed?
I felt
Was there any buyer's remorse, or and even after a year later, how do you feel like it was well worth going through that process?
I think it was. I think yes, it was well worth going through the process. I feel like I had to grow into like loving my home because it was in a space that I wasn't really fully familiarized with. So like
Okay.
getting comfortable and like like getting settled in, and then realizing later on like, oh yeah, this was the right decision.
Wow.
It was just good. And it's like even walking in the house and just like seeing like at the space in the on both sides, and then like the appliances were already there. Like it was everything I could have ever asked for.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I felt very confident that I made the right decision like once I got situated in my home.
Nice, nice. I love it. I just absolutely love it. So now that you've been in the home for over a year now, why don't you share with us how has your life changed, since making the purchase? How are you doing, with now being a renter for so many years to now being a homeowner? It's a different thing. So
Yeah.
now we got stewardship. You got to steward it. You gotta, if when stuff breaks down, no more calling the landlord.
Yeah.
It's on you. So how has that process been for you?
It's definitely been something that I've had to get used to, but I think that understanding that it's something that I own makes me like step up to the plate and be like more responsible over it. Like
Wonderful.
whatever it takes to make sure my home is situated
Wonderful.
is like my mindset now.
Nice.
Compared to being a renter, where I like didn't really have much stewardship over. I was just like, whatever, I'm just paying rent. Like the landlord's gonna take care of everything
It's
else.
definitely a different mentality.
Yeah, and
It's definitely a different mentality.
and then also not having to worry about like anybody telling me what to do or how to live. I think that's another thing that I appreciate the most, and that I'm willing to like continue to have as well. Because like now I own my own house, and like I have a say in like what I want to do.
Right.
And then also like collaborating with my brother too on things like in investments as well. Like I think we do a good job like making sure we take care of things for the house. So
Nice.
I really appreciate that. I think I had to also like encourage him to step up to the plate because he was a bit hesitant
Yeah.
at first in being a homeowner himself.
Right.
So I think it's been a major process for both of us. We've done a good job collaborating together to get the job done because we own it.
And for those of you, if you haven't been on my Facebook page, I did an interview at closing with my son Gabriel, who actually purchased the duplex with my daughter Lauren. She lives on one side. It's a duplex, so she lives in one unit and he lives in the other unit. So when you have a chance, go check out that interview that I did with him at closing. It's been a wonderful, having both of them share that experience together. And, they've been able to collaborate, not just as brother and sister, but as, co-owners of the duplex, and, making sure that the property is being taken care of, and, making that investment together. So when you have a chance, go check out that interview as well. Now, looking back, do you feel that the home was a right choice for you? And I think you already shared that, yes, you feel like it was definitely going through that process. You feel like you did make the right decision.
Yes, because like I've always wanted to be a homeowner, even though I was renting. So like being able to do it in that time, even though it seemed I was a bit wary and like hesitant, and like I also was like kind of like almost scared that it wouldn't fully like work out. I look back and I'm grateful that I went through that process, because at the end of the day, I had a deep desire in my heart to be an owner. So I think that following through, even though there was all these things that I was worried about, was the best decision that I could have ever made.
Wow. And so do I, daughter. No regrets there. So how is owning a home impacting your finances, your lifestyle, your sense of stability, your,
I would say it's made me more of a hustler. It's made me want to like get more serious about having income consistently, so I can make sure everything's taken care of.
Yeah.
It's definitely like pushed me in a manner to like really step up to the plate and ensure that I'm paying my mortgage on time and taking care of anything else, my bills, utilities, water, everything. Like I've been pushing it to make sure I have income all the time.
Right. But then another thing too, I'm thinking probably greater financial stewardship also. So now, the things that you would normally buy, because I know she was definitely a shopper like her mom. But the one thing that I learned after becoming a homeowner is like, okay, I can't go out and splurge. No more like I used to. I couldn't go out with my girlfriends and party all night long like I used to. You know, I had to think about, hey, you know, I got this house, I got this mortgage coming up, you know, I got bills to pay, I got utilities, you know. So share more about, you know, because we know you, I know she like to shop. She got Louis, she got Gucci, she got Chanel, she, you know, come on.
Well, most of the stuff I get is gifts. So I think it's definitely made me more of a steward over my finances. I feel like I have been able to prioritize my mortgage and bills around my house more, and like putting that money aside into my trust account and ensuring that it's there.
Yes,
is like been a thing. And then also saving money.
And I don't know if you heard what she said, but yes, the money goes into a trust account. It's more than just buying. You know, the property is vested, entitled in a trust. So the money goes into the trust. And we can get more into that a little later. But you want to make sure that even when you buy this property, you want to make sure that it's structured properly in terms of how you own it as well. And adding that extra layer to protect your investments and your assets, you know, for the long-term future. So we'll get more into that a little later, but I'm glad you put that in perspective. So we're gonna wrap up this interview though. I do have a few more closing questions that I want to ask her, you know, just have her share a little bit more about her testimony. So what advice, Lauren, would you give to someone who is considering buying their first home?
I would say that your preparation to buy is the most important piece. You want to make sure that you are paying off like any debts that you have to be in a positive, to look good when you're trying to buy or get a loan. It's important. Make sure you keep your debts low. Try to avoid making big purchases before. Because like, for example, I had to wait to buy a car. I had to wait until I closed on my loan to buy a car because I wanted to avoid.
And I made sure of it. Yeah.
So like making sure you avoid making big purchases, and then also making sure that you have a consistent form of income coming in, like a full-time job, to show that you are working, that you have a source of income.
Yeah.
And then just like making sure that you're preparing overall financially to buy, to have a loan so you can buy.
Don't go racking up your credit cards. You know, that's the one thing. You want to keep your utilization low. Preferably below 10%. I know people say, oh, 30%. No. FICO 10.0 has rolled out, baby. So you want to keep that utilization below 10%, you know, ideally.
Yeah.
So, work on paying down those credit cards. You know, I know a lot of people go pay off installment loans. Those installment loans are not impacting your FICO score. What's impacting your FICO score is any revolving debt. So get that utilization paid down on your revolving debt. That's the goal. Trust me.
Yep.
She has one more point. Okay.
Make sure that you have an ample amount of money in your savings account, because even though I was a first-time home buyer, I had to do down payment assistance, and I have 2 mortgages to pay off. So if you can save a lot of money to avoid getting a second mortgage, I highly suggest that, because it's just more, you get more, a better deal when you have money in the bank to show that you can afford your home.
Right. So what she's saying is, number one, she and my son use down payment assistance. All right. But the assistance for the down payment, okay, they have to pay that back. Mm-hmm. So there's forgivable, and then there's one with repayment. And so we'll get more into that, because the forgivable ones, you know, you might be looking at a higher interest rate, you know, but the repayment ones, you know, you have a smaller payment, but you're paying that back. So if you're not using grant money, which is not always available, and you're using down payment assistance, well, the lender is going to do that in the form of a second mortgage. Mm-hmm. Okay. So if you have your own money, it's always better to go in with your own money, because now you got a lower interest rate, and you don't have a second mortgage. Okay, so we'll get into that a little bit later. So another question is, would you recommend my service to others, and if so, why would you?
I would highly recommend her services to others because I just feel like Barrett Financial is just gonna do what they can to like make sure that they meet your needs, like as a buyer. I've also liked the team outside of that, outside of my mom, that has helped to facilitate my loan because like they're just so personable and like made it even easier. Like they just,
like my processors.
Yeah, processor, closer, everyone. So I just like am very appreciative to work with such a team, and like for them each to be so like personable and like kind and supportive, and make sure that they're asking me for whatever they need to like get this loan done, and just also give me like feedback too. So that's why I would recommend.
All right. I love it. Now, is there anything that you'd like to share about your experience before we wrap this up?
I think that overall my buying experience was a very like shifty, like a lot of emotions involved.
Yeah.
And like I like was a bit back and forth, but like going through the process of looking for houses, being eager, and like having that strong feeling in my heart that I'm going to find something is just like, it gave me confidence that like once I like put my mind towards something in general, like I'll find it, especially when it came to buying a home, because I think that it was like truly the right timing for me to buy, and I'm grateful that I like believed in that, even though it was a bit like kind of scary at first.
Yeah.
And I was in a vulnerable stage in my life, but like trusting that feeling and like constantly looking and like showing action towards like something that I want helps me get to where I am now.
Right.
So I would just say that make sure that if you guys have a strong feeling in your heart that you want to buy one day and you're ready, stick with the process. Trust the process.
Boom. Trust the process. That's the key word. And I was actually going to say that when she wrapped up. Trust the process. All right. It's not going to be an easy road, guys. But when you learn to trust the process, guess what? You can have it all. All right. And trust me, you got me here to make it happen for you. So again, I appreciate your time. Thank you for spending some time with me today. If anybody has any questions, feel free to DM me, call me, text me. My number is 480-331-1295. Again, 480-331-1295. And, I'll be bringing more content going forward. I've started my YouTube channel. So, I'll be uploading more videos and sharing, real good information there. So always check me out there. Go ahead, like, subscribe, follow me. Let's get with it. This new year, is going to bring abundance in 2025. And, I'm looking to help you achieve your goals any way that I possibly can. So thank you for your time today. Thank you, daughter.
You're welcome.
For spending time with us. And thank you, Cooper. Say hi to Cooper. This is her little baby.
My baby.
And we'll definitely be, sharing more information going forward. So thank you again for your time and have a blessed day. Bye-bye.